Did Mercedes lie about their porpoising problem? The champions are falling, and they would do anything to survive in the game. Is this one of their huge tactics to get back on track? Let's find out. But before we do that, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. With that note, let's get started. Since preseason testing in Bahrain, we've known that Mercedes has had a serious problem with porpoising. The tremendous quantities of bouncing that Mercedes encounter on straights has caused them to be significantly slower than Red Bull and Ferrari. Mercedes had a difficult time in Baku, with Lewis Hamilton suffering from severe back discomfort and being observed in distress coming out of the car. Some teams have suggested that the FIA should take action because it is a safety issue for drivers, inflicting anguish on them. But where did Christian Horner's critical attitude come from? Well, Horner's harsh could be because of what Mercedes did last season. You don't know about that? Well, don't worry, stick around for a while because I will also get into that. Coming back to the topic at hand. Because of the Ferrari DNFs, Mercedes finished 3 minutes 4 in Baku, with George Russell ahead of Lewis Hamilton. However, this race saw Mercedes suffer the most porpoising of the season, which could be due to the rough street course. Other elements, however, have a role in this outcome. There have been many adjustments to the ground effects and the floor of the car that creates downforce since 2002 when a new rule chain was implemented for Formula One cars. Venturi tunnels are the outcome of these novel ground phenomena. The porpoising effect occurs when the airflow via these channels is blocked due to the car's construction or for any other reason. When the airflow is continually disrupted, bouncing occurs, affecting the car's total speed. As a result, when compared to non-bouncing cars, the car will be uncompetitive. Some Mercedes detractors say that the reason for the bouncing issues is due to the no side pop policy that Mercedes implemented prior to pre-season testing in Bahrain. Mercedes introduced these side pods behind closed doors during pre-season testing in Spain in February, but when they arrived in Bahrain, they did not have them, and no other team has adopted it so far. Is this the reason for Mercedes' porpoising problems? This bouncing effect is perhaps the worst on the Mercedes car, resulting in them not having the same straight line speed as Red Bull, which they attribute to their lack of purpose. It's the worst characteristic I have ever experienced in a car, claimed Lewis Hamilton, who has 7 world championships and has been in the sport for almost 15 years. This exemplifies how awful things have been for Mercedes, as they have fallen to the 3rd best team on pace this season and have yet to win a race in the first 7 races. In the turbo hybrid era, this is extremely rare for Mercedes. Naturally, Mercedes has 2 drivers, Lewis Hamilton and George Russell. Both automobiles we know are battling with the porpoising issue, but it's evident that Lewis' car is in worse shape than George's. This could be due to the different car settings that each driver prefers. Prior to qualification, the driver must select their configuration, with the ride height and suspension being the 2 most important factors. The driver can make individual setup modifications to their car during each of the 3 practice sessions over the weekend. This means that the same car is used by both drivers from the same team, but their setups are different. However, once the driver starts qualifying, he or she is unable to make any significant changes to the car or setup, such as installing a new rear wing or changing the ride height. This means you'll need to strike a balance between a car that will perform well in qualifying and a car that will perform well in the race. No adjustments can be done between the finish of qualifying and the start of the race, or the driver will be penalized by the FIA. As viewers, we can see that George Russell has a better setup than Lewis Hamilton because he is not bouncing as much in the same car. Because George is taller than Lewis, he will experience more pain as a result of the increased G-force exerted on his neck and spine. However, this is not the case, as Lewis appears to be dealing more with the challenges, while George is believed to be still hurting. Adding, "I was really delighted to see the race come to a close." Will Mercedes drivers have to push through the agony in order to have a fair chance of obtaining the most points possible with their current card? In Baku, it was shown that nearly all of the drivers are concerned that porpoising is having a negative impact on their health and that the FIA should intervene to make improvements. Apart from one, Alonso, Mercedes team boss Toto Wolff stated that all drivers met and concurred that there was a problem. It is evident that the FIA must make a change, as if this continues, drivers may be forced to withdraw from races owing to the agony and stress it causes their backs. Even some of the least purposeful of all teams, such as McLaren, had their driver Daniel Ricciardo stayed in Baku. I honestly feel rattled. Due to the rough nature of any street circuit on the F1 calendar, this could indicate that the excessive porpoising was a track unique to the streets of Baku. However, not everyone in the paddock shares this viewpoint. It would seem unjust to penalize the ones who have done a decent job versus the ones who have perhaps missed the aim, says team manager Christian Horner. Horner is plainly opposed to the FIA imposing some form of restriction on the proper height of the car, because the greater the ride height, the less purposeful it is. However, this lessens the car's downforce, resulting in slower speeds around slow-speed curves. It would be a very quick remedy to lessen the porpoising, but Mercedes does not want to do so because it would cause them to slip even further behind Ferrari and Red Bull, as well as cause other midfield teams like McLaren and Alpine to be faster. When asked what Mercedes should do to rectify the porpoising, Horner lambasted them even more, tell them bitch to as much as they could over the radio and make as big an issue with it as they possibly could. It's part of the game. This could be a reference to Hamilton's radio transmission. "Oh, my back is killing me." We all know that Red Bull and Mercedes aren't on speaking terms following the 2021 season, which resulted in a lot of animosities. Toto Wolff and Christian Horner, the team captains, have been arguing a lot in the media, causing a lot of animosities. The hostility from Red Bull stemmed mostly from the crash that forced Verstappen to retire at the British Grand Prix in 2021, for which Hamilton received only a 10-second time penalty. Of course, the highly contentious finish of the 2021 season in Abu Dhabi caused the two teams to clash and argue over what happened that night, and Horner has had harsh words for Mercedes ever since. Christian Horner and Red Bull have been the fastest team in the race, winning the last 4 races despite not having a driver in pole position in any of the last 4 races. This season, Red Bull has mastered the new ground effects and floor modifications with little to no porpoising, making them one of the fastest cars on the straights and in fast-flowing corners. You can understand Horner's dissatisfaction with the possibility of Mercedes influencing the FIA to make modifications that are specifically beneficial to them. Despite the fact that Mercedes is 116 points behind the Constructors' champion Red Bull, Horner believes that if the team can resolve their porpoising issues, they will be able to compete for the championship at the end of the season. Is Horner's remark on the FIA aimed at the FIA? Maybe they're hoping to prevent them from enacting rules that will favor Mercedes in the long run while hurting Red Bull. Are Horner's remarks harsh or balanced? Well, these are some questions that will be answered with time. This was all for today. Do like the video and also comment down your views on the topic. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You can do that by clicking on the channel icon on the left. And if you want more stories related to F1, here on the right is a video for you. I will see you there.